Okay, that worked out.
It's kind of creepy. Something's weird.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. The automatic intro was for Top Secret and started playing. So I forgot to click that. I just noticed that in time. So hello, everyone. Welcome. And I'm glad that you joined me tonight. As if you looked at national weather, we were hit with a big weather up here in Pittsburgh. Anyway, greetings to everyone. And I hope everybody's doing fine. So hello, Darcy, Kilter, Tombstone, Frank, Chris from the AARPG. Oh, Chris, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. All right. And so I'm going to we're going to do actually a normal thing. I'm going to let Matt take over. Are you ready, Matt? Do you need me to let Matt take over and promo stuff and things like that? So go ahead, Matt.
Oh my gosh, we're like regular stuff. All right, so let me see if
I know it is nothing crazy.
I'm trying it slightly different here.
What is this? Okay.
So upcoming for the show,
I didn't know there
we're kind of doing a lot of like searching around. So for our live show on Tuesdays next week, if you're not watching or you don't know, for the last few weeks we've had a guest GM, Matt Orr, who's been running the old school role-playing game Top Secret. I've been having a blast with that. So if you haven't seen them yet, you can get caught up. But we'll have episode 4 next Tuesday, and then the week after that, episode 5. And we're not sure how many episodes it's going to take. Sometimes we're very efficient and we move the story along, and sometimes we don't.
When?
There's no way.
Never. So join us in September for the end of Top Secret.
That's right.
Yes.
Poor Matt had no idea what he was signing for the long haul.
He's like, Chris was updating me on some things, so maybe the party's going to change.
He's been with us since the start, so he knows.
Gotcha.
He knows. He's one of the original gangsters.
Well, and then as far as the leftovers, we've got our hooks into some folks, so we should be filling in these TBDs shortly. So we'll see. That's all I've got for that slide.
Thanks, Frank.
Just to let folks know that we just released our episode 30 of our Dragonbane actual play, Guano Draconis, or as I said, this could have been renamed Two Dargs in a Cup.
Two Dargs in a Cup. Yes.
But so come check out. This is actually, I think this episode and next episode, I thought was one of the most clever story arcs, kind of most interesting story arcs in the Dragon. Now I had missed a lot of it, but I thought this was a lot of fun. It was very interesting, and it kind of reminded me of a really, really old D&D module that had something similar. But yeah, we check it out. And if you love the show and you want to show support, you can head on over to the AARPG's website, where you can find original art by I'm going to get his name wrong.
Jody Schaefer.
Yeah, Jody Schaefer, who you might know from little other projects like ours, little grassroots things like Critical Role and
Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse. Megas XLR. So we're dating ourselves now.
That's right. So you can hop over, get some Geek Chic, and show your favorite character off or other
Bob's
merch.
Burgers.
That's right. It goes
Beavis
on
and Butthead
on.
to America.
And we're in that list. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah, but you could look at our adequate merch. It'll be good. And so here we are. Once again together to talk about great things. It's a hard time of year to book guests because everybody seems to have stuff going on, especially if you have kids. So, but they all want to come on.
School year, finals,
they all want to come on. I'm trying to wrangle down one myself. It's been a little bit of a challenge, unfortunately.
Hey, Tombstone Frank knows Megas XLR. Good.
Yeah. Oh, you see, that's quality right there. Somebody has some culture.
A man of taste and education. Well done.
So tonight, one of the things we didn't get to discuss is something dear to Matt's heart, very dear to Matt's heart. 4X games, basically. I should let Matt talk about his passion for a minute, but once he goes on, me and Chris are going to have to cut him off. But go ahead,
right.
Matt. Go ahead and talk about it.
This was a topic that we had teed up about a month or so ago for the show where we talked about breaking canon, but that conversation ended up taking the entire hour. So we didn't really get to this other one. And so Yeah, I'll start. So 4X gaming, if people are not familiar with the term, I'm sure they are, but if they're not, it's basically like, what is explore, expand, exploit, and like eradicate or something
destroy,
like that.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. It's basically the genre of like you run either, whatever the games are. Usually they're turn-based, but they don't have to be. Where you have you're guiding some sort of group or society, through science, warfare, exploration, and development. So it's very cool genre. I will tell you, my first experience with it was the first game was Civ, the original Civilization.
Yep.
And we had gone over to Dan's house. Dan was, I think, living in New Carrollton somewhere.
Yes, he was.
They had
he was living in New Carrollton.
There were a lot of houses. I don't really remember the time frame of when people
There's
lived
a lot
there.
of houses, a lot of drinking.
There's a lot of drinking, too.
We showed up early for the party, so there was almost nobody there. And Dan was like, "Hey, you should come check this out." And I was like, not in a closed off room. It was like a desk.
No, it was a closed off room.
No,
Matt was looking at the Russian meat wave.
Right, you worked that in quick.
Just couldn't wait.
I know.
I couldn't wait.
In Discord, he's like, "I'm using that." Got patience, man. Don't blow your Russian meat wave in the first.
I can't. I'm premature.
It's also a legitimate tactic in 4X games, the meat wave.
That's true. The Zerg, right? Yeah. So I sat down. He showed me Civ, and I started playing. And literally, like 4 hours
3 days later, they had to kick you out of his house.
4 hours later, I looked around, and the house was full of people. A party had been going on completely around me, and I had just not been aware of any of it. I wasn't wearing headphones or anything. It was just I had never played something that just drew me in to that level of complexity and control and all that. So I thought it was very cool. So I was given that jump fast forward. So literally just maybe only about 6 years ago, I heard about Pathfinder's adventure path called Kingmaker. Nice. And I kind of took a look at some of those books. And I was like, oh, this is really fascinating. And Kingmaker, if you don't know, I've never played the actual the pen and paper. I have played the video game that they made from it, but it's an interesting hybrid because you have like a traditional like Baldur's Gate kind of like game where you have little people and characters and all that. But you kind of go out, and the first thing you do is clear out a settlement, and then you control the development of like a kingdom, right? You become
we're going into Matt's gears right now.
Oh yeah, so that was fascinating, but at the time I wasn't playing Pathfinder, but I was playing Starfinder, and so I spent a whole bunch of time trying to come up with my own homebrew conversion. And then one day I was on the internet looking up something to help me, and this was on there. I found this Star Empire, and I literally was like, someone had already done all of it. And so I ended up incorporating it somewhat successfully for me, somewhat unsuccessfully for some of the group into my Starfinder game. So that's sort of my experience. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I'm planning on doing the next thing I'm going to do for my series of playing with myself is going to be a kind of a tutorial and a walkthrough on the Star Empire's rule set. So that's also why I'm teeing it up on the show. I should have the first episode out for that in a week or two.
And he's not even talking about a show bit. He's just talking about actually masturbating to this.
Yes, I'm just going to have this book be hunched over.
So that's a flat matte book. It's flat mate book. It's not shiny. He's glazed it. I'm telling you.
I can't even open it anymore. Every page is completely.
I mean, you touch anything in that room, it just sticks to you. It's terrible.
So kind of before getting into that, I was just going to open it up to you two or to anybody on the chat. Have you played 4X games? What are some of your favorite, 4X games that you've played over the years? And have you ever sort of in any of your role-playing games kind of incorporated that sort of build and running a either an empire or a kingdom into your game setting?
That's a good question.
Because I know we've done high level stuff with Malcolm, but we were still just role playing.
Like, so you mean 4X games like playing a video game or playing a sit down TTRPG type of game?
Well, either. So you talk about your favorite 4X video games.
All right. Well, so Tombstone Frank with the comment about space genre leads to more 4X mind. Yeah, it does. You're right. I think you're right. When it comes to gaming, shit, I don't know. I know if we've done exploring in some of our games, especially the space games we played, but video games, Jesus Christ, you're talking about like.
I've played through the Civ games.
The Civ games,
the XCOM games, the early XCOM games are absolutely right up that. Even though they were absolutely brutal and murderous, and you couldn't keep a soldier alive for like the first 3 years of the game because they'd just be thrown into the meat grinder until you develop the right tech. But it was basically the same idea.
Well, Other Worlds is supposed to be like that, I think, right? Explorer, and what's the one you play, Matt?
Outer Worlds was one.
Outer Worlds, yeah.
Matt plays 70 to die all the time.
Well, but I don't consider that a 4X though, right? So that's more the survival. No, I started with Civilization. My granddaddy favorite of them all is Master of Orion.
Masters
2.
of
Master of Orion 2. Greg and I used to play that obsessively.
Yeah, you did.
I do think so. Tombstone Frank said
Moo. That's what they think.
Yep,
Moo.
Moo too.
Yep.
I think sci-fi is a great setting for 4X, but I have also, like Civ, right? You could argue Civ kind of goes from, but there's also the, I think it's Age of Wonders, the Might and Magic.
Magic had one.
Masters of Orion? What the hell's the other game?
Well, Masters of Orion is a sci-fi one, but Age of Empires.
Yeah.
There's also another one that it's like Age of Wonder or something like that.
I think you're
played
right.
some very good 4X fantasy.
There's ones like Beyond Earth, Civ Beyond Earth, Alpha Centauri.
Alpha Centauri.
Alpha Centauri was good. That was cool.
That was the great one with the mind worms and the nerve stapling of the populace.
I love that nerve stapling. You have committed an atrocity. It's like then you could what's that fucking planet burster, that one bomb that made the sea levels rise every time you used it. Oh.
I got a story about those and sea level rise and 4X games. So I was playing against our compatriot Tier in Civilization.
Oh, of course.
And it was Civilization 4 when they introduced the climate change mechanic, and you had sea level rise. So I get stuck in this shitty location, which is, tradition for me in Civ games, where I was on this little isthmus, basically, and I had 2 Civs on either side.
Oh,
Turned out I was in the lowlands.
Oh, you're screwed.
It was fine for a while, until we got to the modern age, and the sea level starts rising. I'm like, shit, what the fuck? Tyr drowned my empire by just polluting the world, just oil
blowing up your
refineries,
walls,
coal plants, and everything, and killed me by freaking sinking all my cities.
I love
never play with that fucker.
You can't, because he just does all this, like he said, he picks the, I'm pretty simple, build an army and fight. And then he goes, I'm going to do this. Was it the political win or something like, fuck you.
He usually wants the science win. That's
what you got to go start getting spies and stealing his shit. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I got over. So I'll be honest. I don't know about anybody out there. I get overwhelmed. You have a game that's simplistic and they keep adding stuff to it. I went and played, I think, Civ 5 or 6, and they'd added like religion and there's all these different things.
You can turn that off though.
Okay, there were so many things. I was like, oh my god, like I don't. And I recently tried to play a game called Distant Worlds 2.
Oh yeah, Distant Worlds.
So big and so complicated that I felt like you ended up just having to turn most of it on, like let the computer run it. Kind of like I don't know if you've ever played Stellaris, you can literally like break up your empire and let the computer run parts of it, because otherwise you'd go insane trying to play it, all by yourself.
That sounds like Stellaris.
Yeah. Stellaris is. It reminded me a lot of Stellaris.
Yeah.
I like so the game one of my roommates played was Eve Online, which I call like it's like playing Bitcoin.
Oh Jesus! Yes.
But he built this fleet and he's doing stuff, and it's truly like a cutthroat thing. And you got to find a safe place to put your stuff, where people come raid you and shit. It's like what's that, Rust? Another one where it's just brutal. And I'm like, why are you playing that? Like, you're putting like time and money into that, basically. And
Eve
then
Online was a game where someone actually in the real world concocted to shut down someone's power at their house so they could take over their empire.
Yeah. People
That
get
game
into
is
that.
Insane.
Some people were making ships and they would sell them for real money. It was crazy.
Yep.
I mean, the concept of the game is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but of course,
got that kind of time.
Yeah, you got that guy, and like I've always said this: give the opportunity. Half of people will take the worst option with you. So, like the one team was Brand of Brothers. They were all together in one douchebag, did them all in, and just, oh my god, it's just EVE Online spreadsheet, the MMO. Yeah. You're right.
There are some good stories out there about some massive battles in EVE that literally cost in real world dollars. Like, I don't know, it was a lot of money because of like all the ships that were destroyed in these battles, and people had paid like they said, like the real value lost is like tens of thousands of dollars or something crazy. I played EVE for a while. I played in Care Bear
Of course
Space.
You did, Matt. Of course.
I did. I played in Care Bear
We're not
Space.
surprised. Your addiction, we need to talk about your addiction.
I'm just like role-playing games. So the thing with role-playing games is the same as Nathan. I would play every role-playing game, right? But it's harder. It's hard to find a group. But
it's hard to find time. Yeah.
Right? But with a video game, there's it's like they've left the store open. There's no you can just go and play. So I've played a lot, but I played, I appreciated it. I played in what's called Care Bear Space, right? Where you're the computer security. And I dipped my toes out into 0 space a few times and immediately was just like murdered by somebody. So it was like space rust.
Space. It is space rust, and and you played Rust, Matt. Didn't you play it?
I tried Rust also and just found that I couldn't enjoy it because I'm like, oh, look, I found some stuff. I've got some stone. I've got a rock. Let me build a boom.
I know. You got to join a group, and then I used to follow a guy who played Rust. He was funny as heck, man. How he did stuff, and but then he said he got off it because it became like very like groups, and you get on there, you couldn't solo anymore. That was his gimmick, was solo and fun, and he just, man, I signed off, and I come back, everything's gone, I'm dead, and every time, and then he got stream sniped. And he said it took the fun away, so he went to Red Dead Redemption.
Right. So you have Rust, Scum.
Scum's
the other big
one.
Favorite one that people love that I just won't play is DayZ.
Well, yeah.
Right.
You tried to get me into that.
Well, not DayZ. I've never played.
No, Dead by Daylight or something. What was it?
No, I like 7 Days to Die.
7 Days to Die, which
but
I like. It's just the time.
Yeah, so all three of those games are just like brutal. It's literally like that first time you walk out into Gen Pop prison yard, right? Like you can't go solo. Yeah, you got to find a gang or something, right? Because you just get
look out for that.
So it wasn't fun because for me, time is the only real asset, right? Like, I mean, clearly a game costs money, but if I have spent 4 to 5 hours playing, building, doing something, and then I log out, or even if not, it's just, that's not fun. Whereas I see here in the chat talking about EverQuest and like WoW and stuff like that. Like those, at least I felt with EverQuest, you could move
EverQuest,
forward, right?
Yeah, I remember you guys were playing, and I started trying to play it, and then you run somewhere, and you're low level, and you're running for 20, 30 minutes, and then something kills you. Then you got to run back out, and then people are like, oh, man, you got to get with the group. We're fighting. We're going to get together for 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, dude, 3 or 4 hours. I was like, dude, I work shift work and overtime. I don't have time for that. So I finally just gave up and walked away from it. It's like, wow. Everybody's like, everybody's playing WoW. You should play. I'm like, no. I said, forget it. I got too much. I don't have time for that. So
wow, I gotta like it. Like EverQuest today, I think maybe the only people that might play the original EverQuest today would be the same people who enjoy Elden Ring.
Yeah,
where it's like super hard. And EverQuest, to give it credit, there wasn't any hand holding, right? And so it was really difficult. And that's where I think, for better or for worse, WoW became so popular because they really made the game, and I'm not going to say they made it easier, they made it just less painful. Like failure wasn't as painful. You'd still have challenges, there's bosses to fight and stuff like that and everything, but failing didn't hurt in WoW like it did making a 20 or 30 minute naked run, to try to go get your body and hopefully not get killed by the thing that killed you the first time, so that you leave a string of you'd be going to get your body, there'd just be like littered bodies on the road. Other people trying to get their bodies, right?
Yeah, I remember I thought that was, it's a great game if you want to do teamwork and stuff. Games like that are great for that. And the more severe the difficulty, the better your teamwork's got. I think there's a joy to that. For me, it was just the time. If I was like, independently wealthy or something, sure, let's get online. But I'm not independently wealthy. Like the rest of us, I have to work for a living. So, Kingdom of Loathing. I never played that.
Oh, that was a fun one. It was a very satirical kind of game. Like your introductory lesson was given to you by the tutorial.
Oh, jeez.
Is this a video game?
This was an online.
This was an MMO
mud sort of thing. Yes, it was. I think it actually might still be around. I have to check.
You should look it up real quick while we're on.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
Because I played it like 2006.
Seal Clubber or Disco Bandit. Is that familiar?
Yeah. Those are absolutely. Holy crap! It is still around. Kingdom of
it is.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Still around, folks. You can go play that now.
Throw the
Kingdom of Loathing. If you want to go there, Darcy's dropped a gem upon us, which is great.
It is amazing how many of these old games are either kept alive by the official group or kept alive by fan base, right? Like, I think there's still. Well, I know there's those old EverQuest servers still out there, right? And I think recently, I think Greg mentioned, I think they were playing EverQuest 2 again. I think
I can see Greg doing
he and
that.
Michelle, because that's how they met. Yeah,
that's how they met. Why wouldn't they?
So
nerds.
Yeah, he is such a nerd.
I met my wife at a horror movie convention, just like us proper.
That's right.
Well, yeah. That's a story.
Whole other story.
Which I'm not even going to get into.
That's a story for another time.
Damn right it is, boy. I was drunk.
But yeah. So, and I think you can, like, if we're talking MMOs, boy, that would be like a whole different thing. But for me, it was right. It was EverQuest. I started playing EverQuest 2, but I couldn't do the long raids. Right, Greg was the king of long raids. He could, right. But I got into Anarchy Online, which was as far as I know, the first science fiction MMO. And I played that forever, like that. And I played that with Al. Al played that. Yeah. And that blew my mind at the time. And then I kind of played a couple of things, and then it was kind of a stream of things that James had introduced me to. There was Horizons. And a few.
You played City of Heroes, right?
Oh, I love City of Heroes. Yeah. City of Heroes.
Teamster and Frank played that.
That game.
21 years, awesome. Man. 21 years.
Holy
That's because
crap, we're old.
Yeah, we're old.
So
I do remember Matt mentioning that.
I think City of Heroes is one of those games that fans kept alive. But
he said it's all fan driven. That is all fan. Here he goes.
Yep.
That is all fan driven and owned.
Yeah. I love that game as well. The DC one, I think there was a DC one too that was okay, but I really liked City of Heroes.
I think I remember you talking about that game. I was working in TAC. I was busy. I didn't have time for that. because it sounded fun. You made your hero and you went out and did stuff. We were playing all those superhero games then.
Well, right, it was the closest thing. If you couldn't play either Heroes Unlimited or Champions or whatever, it really had a great, I felt like the heroes were different enough that you could make someone that was fairly unique, especially amongst your group. Yeah, free to play. I might have to go down and check it out again.
Fair enough.
It's been such a long time. And then same company that did Anarchy Online did the it was like Secret World.
Oh,
they did Secret World, which was really interesting because I like.
Was it on Cinemax at night? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Different World
different
was cool. Again, I like so many people were doing or still are always doing sort of these fantasy MMOs, especially at the time, right? That was like the big, Worlds of Warcraft was king. It was nice that there were folks that were picking other kinds of genres. So like Secret World was kind of like Illuminati and all that zombies and all kinds of weird magic and stuff and machine guns and things. So it was kind of like a modern.
It's interesting because if you look at there's a crap, I didn't want to do that. There's
Matt was right.
Yeah, Matt. No, Matt was right for once. Oh, the Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, good Matt. Good Matt.
Sorry, I'm not the old Matt. The only. So the in that period we're talking about, which is like EverQuest and dating ourselves here. There wasn't like now it's all zombies, right? Then it was all like fantasy or space or something. So now we're like, yes, behind the green door. Yeah. But anyway, Mr. Chambers, we keep getting into but it's now like a lot of stuff is zombies because there's like a version of Walking Dead online, like a game you play where you're exploring and stuff like that.
Zombies are super. I mean, there's the whole. I mean, you have so kind of getting out of the. Well, I think there are some sort of 4X kind of games like that, but a lot of them are the survival ones, right? So you're into the realm of like 7 Days to Die. Yeah, probably the game I have the most hours on of any video game, and then you have like Project Zomboid, which is a fantastic, I think, single developer game. You didn't like it?
Oh, it is. It's fun.
Did not like it.
It's a silly game.
You don't like the fact that you can like get a cold and die, cut yourself, get like tetanus.
No,
that is pretty cool.
No, I like that sort of mechanic. I played Harnmaster.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, but no, it was just not my game. They did have, actually, speaking of 4X, the zombies mod for Civ 4. It wasn't even a mod. Really? It was an addition. The last build to it was a 4 or 5. One of the two had the mod where you could have zombie swarms taking over the planet, and they'd randomly spawn, and you had to build defenses for your towns that were.
Did it completely? Because I know those like scenarios. Were you still like building through the ages and doing all the main mechanics? Or?
Yeah, there was just zombie mechanics. Like if you killed a zombie horde, or the zombie horde killed your unit, it would spawn as a zombie horde too. So now you had 2 zombie hordes.
Gosh,
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is interesting. So you're instead of fighting barbarians, you're fighting zombies, or you got barbarians spawning being fought by zombies. More source management access seems like cheating, but not my thing. Yeah, that's fair. Time to beat later, guys. Take care, Matt Orr.
Enjoy your.
Speaking of zombies,
speaking of zombies,
speaking of eating flesh, Matt Orr's got to go grab a quick snack out of the.
That's not going to translate to us getting killed next Tuesday. Everything will be fine.
To be fair, it's Nathan who will die.
Nathan must die. He must must finally die. He must pass on to the ether.
He's the one who failed the stealth check and is now face to face. Oh, you weren't there, Sean. Were you? Or were you?
No, I got to listen to the episode. Remember, I tried.
Oh, that's right.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It was okay. No spoilers. No spoilers. All right. Yeah. So I just so kind of circling back around. Has anybody online, anybody here played the Kingmaker from Pathfinder, either the video game or the God, why can't I picture it? What does AP stand for?
Action points.
No, it's like
actual
armor piercing.
No,
anal probe.
Oh,
damn it! That's what I was about to say.
Adventure Path. Oh my gosh, I'm having a senior moment. Adventure Path. That's like their long campaigns. Adventure Path. I don't know if anyone. Yeah. So basically, the idea there was that you get sent out to a remote part of the kingdom, and you get out there. And speaking of 4X, my little spy in Steam just told me that Dan just popped open in Fallout.
Really?
But yeah, he's in Fallout 4. But you go down, you clear out some bandits, and then they're like, okay, now you're in charge. You build a city. And I was just, so I know you guys love my spreadsheets. So I'm just going to tease up this. So the idea is that you design like your kingdom, and the way they do it is they have a grid, and it's just like playing, what was it? Sims, not Sims, the city one.
Sim City.
Thank you. God, I am really having it. I mean, no drink.
Have to. You use both sim and city in the same sentence.
I have finished all my coffee from my wonderful pink faux hawk mug
I'm
earlier.
drinking.
It'd be nice if Mr. Pink responded to my email and get, hey man, I just checked my email. Call you, get back with me. Must be like.
But basically, it's like Sim City where you can build different kinds. You have like build points. And every, like your empire is made up of like your cabinet, right? You have your treasurer, your security officer, and based on roles, you have a certain amount of build points, and you can buy infrastructure. And so much like SimCity, where you build either like commercial, residential, industrial, and all of that then feeds back in. And I'm just going to show a couple screenshots of, because it's for all those who love spreadsheets out there. This is my spreadsheet porn. Looking at some of the I know that he gets, let's see if I can get this to work here.
Oh fuck, a spreadsheet? Are you serious? See what happened to the Lego?
There it is. Oh, and it's glory.
Why?
Oh. Right. So it's a lot of, right. So for those of you who like free and loose, fast and fun, this part of the programming is not for you. For those of you who like numbers and crunching and all kinds of stuff. But this is kind of basically the sheet that I had built that kind of mimics some of the ones I found for Kingmaker. And you lay out your colony, right? Which in this case was actually a space station. And you have like a grid for each district, and you put different kinds of infrastructure. So in this particular case, there's like landing bays, residential,
Didn't you do
commercial.
A whole video on this?
Yeah, and so I'm basically going to do what this is
more
walking
bars.
through,
Yeah,
and well, it needs more It needs more bars, and walking through and just kind of showing people how this sort of
welcome
system,
to our hell, Frank.
right?
Welcome to our hell.
But that's the basic concept. The only thing that I'm not showing in this here is I do have a few kind of modifications for things like if you've played Civ for like wonders, right?
Yeah,
so I have a mechanic for things that are like wonders.
So Matt is a technical guy, and he likes all the technical aspects of games.
Technical is not the right word.
So if you notice, like when Matt's talking about all the games he's played, me and Chris are like, nah.
Right.
He's played almost everything we've talked about. Oh, I hit that back. But he really has, and it's like, hey man, there was a time he was harassing me to play 7 Days to Die. And
I'm still harassing you.
Yes, and I got on.
We have jobs, Matt. We have real jobs. We don't need fake jobs.
Yeah, because it's like you got to do the premise of 7 Days to Die. It's really cool. You have 7 days to prep for a zombie horde. These hordes get progressively strong, and that's very appealing. But you have to play 7 days in a row to keep building your base up. And, some of the mods are cool in the game. If you ever get to watch some of the mods, it's pretty cool. And they got different types of zombies. But it's a cool I think it's a cool survival game.
It's I don't know, my opinion, it's one of the best kind of, it's got a lot of stuff that's amazing. It is funny though. I get it's not for everyone's got different styles of what they like, and like their role-playing games or video games. Like I tried once to like see if one of my one kid wanted to play or whatever. And he looked at me and is like, he likes things that are fast. like he plays all these things where he's like either a kaiju or a robot or like a thing, and it's like super high speed, high fast, high pace, lots of
all the cocaine
music. He goes, Dad, he goes, I really like to play with you. He's like, I really want to play with you. He goes like, but I really I'm not too interested in like just digging.
Yeah. See, 100%. That's the problem.
So I completely get that my obsession is not everybody's obsession.
And see, that's weird though, because Civilization, the 4X games are like that. They're long, drawn out, slow. Sometimes you have to go like 100 turns before you actually accomplish something. But at least you feel like you're moving in a direction. You're not just digging a hole.
Yeah, like StarCraft.
By zombies
StarCraft, you're like fucking fighting, getting zerging or whatever. It's like, but it is like you got to build something, and which I guess if you're doing a team, and like I said, if I had unlimited time, it would be fun to do because that does have its appeal. I see Matt's appeal to it, but then again, it's like, damn, dude, I gotta mow the grass. I gotta put new brakes on my car. I got a yard to work on, and
So when we actually played with my coworkers at the time had set up a regular Thursday night gaming night, and so we'd all just hop on the PC and play games. One of the games we played was 7 Days to Die, and after like the fifth or sixth week in a row of playing that, we had finally built a base, and it was like you said, just basically digging and digging and digging and digging. I'm like, man, I already got a family to provide for. Why do I got to provide for this one too?
I know. Waiting for that big horde, the red sun or the red whatever comes up, and
there is something to say that like basically if you're playing a game that has activities that you probably should be doing like for real, like if I'm spending Saturday morning 2 hours tending my garden in 7 Days to Die when I could be out back tending my garden, right? No, but I should not share this, but I have 2,664 hours on that game.
Oh my God,
that
Matt.
is not a good statistic.
Matt, this explains how you look. You look like a hermit. Now we know. You must smell terrible.
2,000 hours. I have in Civ 6. I have 921 hours, and that's probably my most played game.
Yeah, I've been playing 7 Days to Die since they started developing. It used to look like Minecraft. Basically, it was like kind of
that's what I was playing.
I haven't played it in a while, but that was my go-to. Yeah, I don't think I have another game that's even half or a third of those hours. I love so Catan. Yeah, we love it. We've played as a family the Catan Junior. When the kids were younger, and we have the Catan. We don't have a bunch. I don't think we have any of the expansion, but yeah, I definitely like Catan.
There's some good games like Munchkin, card games like Munchkin, Super Munchkin.
I like. So we want to talk 4X on table a board
Ticket
game.
to Ride.
Anybody out there play Terraforming Mars?
I've played the
I haven't.
computer version of it, not the board game version.
Yeah, I've got it on my phone, but so that game I got introduced by a friend, and I had Liz. I convinced Liz to play it one time, and like 3 or 4 hours later, when the game was done, she's like, "I am never playing that again."
Oh, really?
It's like
I could see her saying that too.
The average game, if you get people, it's like 3 hours long. And then they keep adding extra stuff to it. They eventually added this thing called like the assembly or whatever. They basically like, you know what our game needs? Another game.
Oh yeah, really. So Gloom. Anybody play Gloom?
I've played Gloom. It's a fun game.
It's an interesting game. You're controlling an eccentric family. Am I right, Chris? In reading this,
you're basically trying to kill the other players.
No wonder you played it.
You're trying to kill the characters. It's the saddest. You're trying to enforce the saddest situation on all the players.
Oh my God!
It's great fun.
I know.
How long does it take to play a round of Gloom?
I don't remember because everybody only played this. Caitlin and I enjoyed it. Tammy.
Of course, Caitlin would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We all.
It does sound fun. We should play that online one night, just to just screw.
Yeah, I was just putting in there. Chris just volunteered to run it for us. I
mean, it's not really a GM hosted game. It's just one of those. Oh yeah.
Talisman. Yes.
Oh, Talisman. Yeah.
Talisman is funny, fun game. I enjoy it. Several. You can play Talisman on Steam with a group of friends.
So many fucking mods though, or so many variants or editions. It just takes forever.
We might run a lot of glue.
Talisman I know was another one that Greg was super into. Greg would always break out the Talisman. It would always go for hours, and he would always play. He always ended up getting that. Was it the damn thief that could like take your stuff?
Yeah, and he would always take your stuff.
It landed on you. Yeah. Oh my god, it used to drive me crazy. But that was a great game. So many expansions.
Yeah. Now, well, playing online, you just got to limit the expansions. We went through a pretty quick game. It was years ago. I forgot when we played it, but we played Steam. You were on a game too. It's me, you, Tier, some other people.
Yeah, there was 4 of us. It was actually right after we'd started the podcast. It was in a game or night where not everybody could make it, so we didn't record that night. We just played.
So we just played. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah,
we talked about playing games live like that. Instead, we started a freaking interview podcast. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Let's see how we went down. We went down a dark hole. It's our own version of Gloomy. But
it's called life.
It's called life. The game of life. I started the podcast with a full head of hair.
We're going to do like Johnny synergy, Depp. Right? Gloom and the game of life.
That's you, Matt. You
crossover.
Yes.
I want to jump back because I think I missed something in the chat real quick. I'm going to throw it up here. So, Darcy, I ran. Oh, I did write some. Stop pushing buttons. I ran a 3-year-long stream of Conscientious Explorers. So was this in the original rule set? And like, what did that? So I've played Gamma World, but it was just more kind of traditional, like, you know, bunch of people. How many mutations can you get? Go bask in the radiation.
That was the thing.
But so did you play, Darcy? Was this in the original rule set? And was it? Did you do like a hex crawl? Or
she said yes. Yeah. Darcy, sorry. Yeah.
Dead air. Somebody say something.
Yeah, no.
That's where my penis fell off. What? Oh god.
My brain was in interview mode for some reason, not chat mode. Like any minute now, Darcy's gonna come online and be like, "Hey, yeah." It's like.
Darcy.
I mean, you could have Darcy as a guest, you savages.
We could have Darcy as a guest. Darcy was the first. Yeah, we could.
We should just have that. We should just have guests, you know, like just come on and just.
We could
do the show.
Oh, here we go.
All backstories
worked in the world of survival games from AD&D.
Okay, right.
All backstories agree that the cataclysm destroyed all government and society beyond a village scale. That sounds like the GOP.
Oh, Chris, you're starting me. You're going to trigger me.
It says chaos.
You're going to trigger me.
There. It's
AD&D
right there,
is
Sean.
not anything else. We're not doing this.
So that's cool.
Now.
So worked in the wilderness survival rules from AD&D. I don't know if I still.
They did. That's right. That's absolutely right.
I know I've got the Dungeoneer survival guide.
I remember looking at it when we were in the Medieval Society Games Club. We had the book, and I remembered similarities. It just sparked a memory. Oh, it's gone that quick. Not gone.
Medieval Society Games Club, the MSG Club.
No, the MSG Club. Yes, we drank MSG and looked at role play like D&D and Gamma World and Twilight 2000. And
lots of Chinese food.
Lots of Chinese. Yeah, it was actually lots of Chinese food. We So Fat was our favorite
one. I have the Dungeoneering survival guide. I'll have to go back and dig, and maybe I have it on a different shelf.
No, that was cool. Gamma World was fun. We played it a couple times in mutations. Everybody rolled for a mutation. You hoped you got a good one. If not, you got like an extra arm or something weird.
There was one that you turned. Oh, was it the big rabbits? So this is long before Battle Lords, right? You had the hoops, were the big mutant rabbits in Gamma World they all had the mutation that I think if they touched metal, it turned to rubber or something like that.
Yeah, something weird like that.
Yeah, but they're sort of the grandfathers of the. So I don't know, Darcy, if you listened to our Twilight 2000, or if you've ever watched anyone play Twilight 2000, I'm wondering if looking back, playing a sort of hex crawl, mutant game was similar to what it's like, because that's kind of what Twilight 2000 is now, right? It's an open world exploration. You know, you kind of like, you could probably run a very focused game with a story, or kind of like Nathan did, just kind of let us stumble.
Well, Twilight's more of a survival game, I think. Yeah, it's open world, but it's more like, if you play it like we were supposed to, which we started, but then we went off to the left, it would have been much more survival. But we were treating it like, just like you're saying, like of an open world, you know, exploring and doing all that stuff, because that's what we were doing. We weren't just surviving and fighting. We were trying to, you know, figure stuff out, not get into fights sometimes.
Right.
So I think you're right on that.
But just a point of note, Battlelords came out. The first edition was 1990. So I don't know that it was long before Battlelords.
Really?
That's true. That's true. Because
I think Gamma World came out
in the 80s, but I don't know when.
No, I think it came out earlier than that.
Really? Let's turn to the internet.
I am right now.
First edition, 1978.
Yes, I was right.
Oh, wow. That is, yeah.
Fuck yeah, motherfuckers. I'm older than you.
You're just old. That's all that is.
Oh, Jesus. All that useless knowledge I could put toward like something to make me money, and instead I know about. I have images of Gamma drawings. Favorite.
But back to the 4X games we started.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to mention one of our friends worked for the company that made XCOM. No, really? XCOM was Firaxis, I believe.
Firaxis Games, that's right.
Yeah, and so she got me a copy of XCOM 2, and I already bought it because, you know, I love those games. So I always buy them. And so I gave it to Tyr. Tyr was in Afghanistan at the time. He found XCOM 2 too stressful to play. And he was living in Afghanistan at the time. It was just giving him too much stress.
Hearing the phalanx guns go out, mortar incoming.
XCOM 2.
I got to escape from XCOM. Great. I'm going to go look at Afghanistan for a bit.
I'm going to look at desert, fine sand and mountains.
Yeah, XCOM was cool because I like.
Oh, you would think it was cool because it was crunchy. Anything you think is cool is scary.
It is. I like it because it's crunchy. It's got permadeath, right? Like the old was it Jagged Alliance games, right? Where you have like your and there's like a really old one I used to play that was so. But I like that they had the base building, but it's like the cutaway. So you're like, it's all kind of underground, or you're in a ship, or what, I can't remember what, I think you're underground.
Depends on the version, but yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a curious view. You see that a lot. Like one of my games on my phone is like a Fallout one where you're managing a vault, you know. But yeah, no, XCOM is a really good one. And there's a few others that are out there like XCOM. And I am trying to think what the heck that thing was called. I'm trying to look at all my different.
If only you had come prepared for the topic.
Oh, Phoenix Point. Phoenix Point. So if you like XCOM, you should check out Phoenix Point. It's kind of like that. And I think there's a World War II one, and there's another one that's coming out. That's Star Wars. I think there's like a Star Wars game like XCOM coming out soon too. So wow, we've really strayed away from the TTRPGs.
That's okay. We're fine. It's a good topic. You know.
This is a general gaming podcast, goddammit.
Yeah, Matt would love some of my Blood Bowl guys. Blood Bowl,
oh,
yes. Number crunchers who watch it. So yeah, Blood Bowl was a
okay. All right, you
have aroused him, Frank.
Oh my gosh! So
what have you done?
So we started playing Blood Bowl in Germany, and my buddy Worm was the supply specialist, and so when we shipped off to the desert. We get there and he's got a trunk full of we had our D&D stuff, and he brought Blood Bowl with us to the day. So we would go down to the bottom basement of the parking garage and set up on a table and play Blood Bowl. We played so much Blood Bowl, we started creating a system of experience points and attribute increases for the players. So instead of just having generic, people you move around, you could have a person who had a better run speed or whatever. And so it was great because you could literally have a team where they got their rosters and stats. But if you they got killed in the game, it was that much more devastating because it was your star runner or your star receiver. We went all in because when you're not on duty, you're sitting around staring at each other. And so there was a lot of Blood Bowl going on down there. And it's funny from a TTRPG standpoint, he'd brought a set of D&D books and we started playing. We were the only people down there playing. And like 3 or 4 weeks later, there was like 6 tables, like people just coming out of the woodwork and people had brought, the word got out. And like, it was like this whole like parking garage basement, gaming thing going on. So,
you
wow,
could use actual buildings. You didn't have to be in the parking garage.
I lived in a parking garage. I had my own parking space for a while until eventually too many people moved in and I had to share my parking space with 2 other people. So
sounds
for
like
a while I was living.
So that's where you're operating.
I was living high on the hog on my.
Were you near an airfield? Was it near an airfield?
Yeah, but I was also near an airport that was being built, and so we lived. The garage had been built, so we lived in the garage, not in the airport.
Sounds like that period of time when Sean was without work.
Sean was near me. Sean was somewhere else, living somewhere
living in the middle of the desert, and I stayed in a foxhole the whole time. So so waiting for 70% casualties that never came.
Right.
Truly
was underground Blood Bowl. Yes, we were underground Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that was an interesting time, interesting period of 30 some odd years ago. But anywho. The sidebar, we were talking about games like StarCraft.
Yep.
Which still hold their value, right? We could play it right now.
RTS is...
Oh, my God.
So RTS is making a comeback this year. There's a lot of...
RTS?
RTS. Real-time. So StarCraft...
Okay, real-time games. Okay.
Yeah.
Real-time strategy.
They're making a comeback. There's a bunch of titles coming out in this year. I think they're doing like a revisit on one of the Command and Conquer, right?
Command and Conquers were so good. The little stick figure guys running, burning.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So it's
fighting
funny.
Nod.
You had
actually, I looked like the main villain.
Well, I know. Here we're gonna. I know. There's so many things, so many topics. So we were talking about people we know in the industries and the games. I don't know if you ever met him, but do you remember? So one of the early Civ, it was all computer, and then eventually they had for a little while. They had real people, real actors playing your cabinet.
Yep. Yes.
So like your war secretary or all these were real people, and they'd come up and they'd videotape them in the studio. But so now it's all back to computer graphics. But Dan knew the guy who was one of the advisors, and he was always at the Ren Fair every year. I can't remember which advisor he was, but he was like one of the advisors. He'd gotten the gig. And so every time we were at Red Fair, it was always like, "Hey, you're the Civ guy." I'm sure he loved that.
It's claim to fame.
Yeah.
But Command and Conquer, that would be those games were good, like Tiberian Sun, which was a Command and Conquer spinoff. Yep. StarCraft was cool too, man. There's something like Chris said, there's something cool about this playing. It took a while, like going through each scenario, but it was sort of fun and challenging, and because it was simple. I think too.
And they hooked you with the story. They learned from Wing Commander.
Yeah.
So Wing Commander was a fun fly around and shoot spaceships game, but it had a story. So it was an investment, right? And so Command and Conquer definitely led in with that, because you'd play the scenario and you'd wanted to win, but you really want to know what was going to happen, right? And so it kind of like pulled you along. Get to play
the story.
And StarCraft did that. Warcraft
Great
did
story.
that, right?
Warcraft did too, yeah.
So it's a good way to weed you in. If anyone likes RTS and doesn't mind older graphics, one of my favorite RTS games of all times is called Warzone 2100, and you can get it on Steam. The thing about Warzone 2100 that was unique to me, and again this goes back to my detail stuff, is that unlike in Command and Conquer, where you could build a buggy, right, or a tank, everything in that game is modular. You unlock technologies for like treads, wheels, half track. And you can literally build and customize every single unit you deploy, and they gain experience based on how many kills they get. So you can and then recycle them into new. So the computer kind of reacts to how you build, and certain scenarios are better. I've just never seen an RTS where you have absolute control of every aspect of every vehicle that you're using on the battlefield. So Warzone 2100, it just has, it's I don't know. It's like almost not Commodore 64 graphics. Maybe I don't know. It's not great graphics. It's 3D.
8-bit.
But it is 3D, but it's pretty simplistic. But yeah. Oh well. All right. Thank you. That's all I've got for my stuff. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully in another week or two, we'll have that out on the channel, and I hope I'll do like one or two, see if people are interested. I'm basically just going to walk through the Star Empire's rule sets, how you form an empire, walk through some of the mechanics on how, every turn, what that means to take a turn as an empire, and kind of play through the development of kind of the same kind of idea as Kingmaker but in a sci-fi setting of a young noble scion who's sent far off to the corner, one of the farthest flung parts of their family's empire, because he's like fourth in the line. Everybody wants him out of the way. And like, all right, go make this place work. Right. So that's kind of the scenario I'm working with. And so we'll see. Again, these mechanics are not for everybody, but for those people who like to get in and crunch around and stuff like that. And it might even work that it's just for solo play.
So that's interesting. I just want to make a special note about this podcast. I just realized Matt thankfully didn't make this advertisement a week in advance, because it says special guest Matt in quotation sub, which can mean anything. We can expand upon that a lot.
This is in regards to my status knockdown since Matt Moore has joined us.
You don't know our guests. You don't know our people.
We don't kink shame here. Whatever
we don't kink shame here. You got to remember, we don't kink shame. Tear and hentai, we bring that up all the time. He just accepts it. He embraces it. You need to embrace this.
Yeah, we're proud to know you, Matt, even if you are a sub.
Yeah, even if you are a sub. This explains a lot of your relationship with Nathan. It does. It does. It truly does. Chris, you got anything you want to add? Anything you want to bring up?
Oh, no, I'm here just for the chaos. You know that.
That's cool. There, see, Tombstone Frank.
Yeah,
Matt is just being open. We accept all kinks. See, there we go. So I'd like to remind anybody that every next Tuesday.
It's a very big difference between Matt is being open and Matt is being opened.
For that Russian meat wave. Yes.
It's there. See, that would have been the perfect place to introduce it.
Yeah, I just did. I primed it. I set you up. Anyway, next Tuesday, we will be fighting not the Russian meat wave, but we will be fighting the top secret game on Tuesday. And next Thursday, we might have a guest on, but if not, we'll come up with a good topic to talk about, because we have a lot of things we're going to talk about, actually.
Or a passable topic.
Yeah,
or it'll just be an hour of video of me digging dirt in 7 days to die.
Yes, that's what it'll be.
It'll just be digging.
Just talking to himself.
Opens from Malcolm. You had to bring Malcolm into it, too.
Malcolm,
who doesn't open for Malcolm? Malcolm's such an eloquent speaker. Malcolm is such an eloquent speaker. So, okay, on that note, on that bombshell, or butt shell, I should say, we shall end our show.
Got to work on your segues.
You're almost there.
Terrible segue. Can't always hit home runs. All right, but anyway, thank you all for joining us. We wish you all the best, and we'll see you hopefully all on Tuesday. Take care now.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.